I don't know, can a Godzilla tail slice through battleships and destroyers that easily? I don't know. Hi, I'm August Ragone. I'm the author of Eiji Tsuburaya, Master of Monsters from Chronicle Books, which was the story of the man who created Godzilla, basically, brought him to life through special effects. Been writing and talking about this stuff for a long time, and we're going to take some looks at some clips from Godzilla vs. Kong. As for the modern designs, let's start with Kong. It's kind of really hard to beat the original 1933 Kong for the pathos in his face, the way he was animated by Willis O'Brien and his team. And that design is still going to be iconic and the standard that everybody should start with. There have been other Kongs, obviously, we know since then, two attempts by Toho in the 60s to varying degrees of failure or success, depending on your point of view. This Kong that we saw in Skull Island first, as a younger Kong, was fine, and I think he definitely looks a lot better in this particular film. And I really have no problems with the Kong design at all. He looks pretty fantastic when it comes to things like, the physics and the jumping around for something that's like 300 plus feet tall. Kind of think twice about that. But the designs, as far as the base designs of these monsters, Kong is just, he looks great. He looks good. Now Godzilla, he looks like a giant iguana with plates stuck on his back and a bad case of eczema. But it kind of looks like it's, he's from an old Irwin Allen movie, American film, where they took lizards and stuck frills or fins on their backs and set them loose to fight other lizards, supposedly dressed up as dinosaurs. The classic original Godzilla is great. I mean, if they could take something like that and layer it and update it in terms of like posture, so it's not postured exactly like a man in a suit, you could probably do something really great with that. It's interesting, some of the design choices that Legendary went into in creating this Monsterverse when they were doing concept work for the Gareth Edwards film. I never really agreed with the way that they redesigned Godzilla for this series. You get used to it, but it's still not really Godzilla to me, but that's just my own personal take on that. The aesthetic is really nice in terms of a modern screen monster. And of course, I don't want something like this to look like a man in a suit. Yeah, that's another thing about the Godzilla facial design in these films, is that from a front-on look, it just looks like one flat mass. It doesn't have that dimensionality that the original designs had. Not bad, it's just different, but there's still something about it that I haven't quite warmed up to yet. I don't know, can a Godzilla tail slice through battleships and destroyers that easily? I don't know. Now, a lot of people out there could say, hey, well, the Japanese films also ignored physics, and maybe some people would say complete believability, but, fighting on top of an aircraft carrier is also a bit of a stretch, no matter how pretty you can make it look. Of course, you get into the 1970s Godzilla films, and they were made expressly for children. They were part of a children's matinee package. This is for general audiences, and it's just completely unrealistic. But people are going to say that. You got two giant monsters, you already lost the realism right there when the monsters are over, a couple 100 feet tall, or even larger than the largest dinosaur.
That's Robo-Godzilla.
No, that's Mecha Godzilla.
Ah, yes, the Mecha Godzilla. It's really kind of interesting that the original Mecha Godzilla from 1974, which was made by space aliens to come to Earth to fight the real Godzilla and defeat him so they could invade the Earth, looked very kind of retro-futuristic at the time because it had things like rivets. Even for the 1970s, that would be a throwback to an older time. That's part of its charm. And it's interesting how fans over the years, critics, have criticized that kind of look for the original 1974 Mecha Godzilla. And we've gone full circle to this film, and here we are with sort of a, very retro looking rivet filled mechanical beast that kind of looks more like an unpainted version of Ripley's power loader than the 1974 Mecha Godzilla. The Japanese reimagined Mecha Godzilla in 1993 decided to make him a completely smooth, lean, mean fighting machine. That 1993 design captured a lot of people's imagination at that time. I certainly loved it. And as they progressed, they changed the design each time they brought him back. I don't know, the charm is sort of missing in a design like this, but I'm not saying it should look like the 1974 version. But it definitely looks like something that was, thrown together, even though there's a obvious purposeful design. And this is sort of a staple of the Japanese films in the starting in the 60s, where you would have the three-way or the four-way battle. And it was sort of the natural way this should have went.
For more experts reacting to your favourite movies, TV shows and games, stick with IGN.